Welcome to this explainer. It's funny. When most of us try to figure out our life's direction, we tend to grab onto things like flimsy online personality tests or just whatever the latest career trend happens to be. But if you're looking to draft a deeply personal, spiritually aligned life compass, the source material we're looking at today suggests you're going to need something a whole lot stronger than a passing fad. You need absolute bedrock. So today we're exploring this really fascinating concept called divine architecture. It's a framework pulled straight from our sources, and we're going to see exactly how it can help you draft a true, lasting personal mission statement. Okay, let's dive right into the blueprint for this explainer. We'll kick things off with designing divine architecture. Then we'll look at the 4 load-bearing pillars, check out the dangers of misalignment, and finally, we'll wrap up by actually drafting your masterpiece. All right, Section 1, Designing Divine Architecture, starting with a solid foundation. Think about any massive construction project. Before you can build up, you've literally got to dig deep, right? Well, the sources emphasize that this foundational process absolutely has to start with God. Drawing on Proverbs and Jeremiah, the framework points out that instead of just leaning on our own limited understanding, we should really look to the plans He already has for us. It's a mindset shift, honestly. It's about seeking a profound, lasting calling, not just scrambling to find a temporary job title to put on a resume. Moving on to Section 2. The 4 load-bearing pillars: purpose, vision, vocation, and passion. So, to hold up this massive architecture, the text outlines 4 completely vital elements. Pillar number 1 is your purpose, or the why. According to the framework, this is exactly why you exist, based on God's specific reason for creating you. It's all about the lasting impact your life is meant to have. And the sources make a really critical distinction here that I love. Your true purpose is always going to be way, way bigger than any specific career or natural gift you might have. It directly answers that massive fundamental question we all ask: why am I here? Next up, we have the second pillar, which is vision. This represents the where. The sources describe this as the literal picture of the future that's been given to you. Essentially, it's what fulfilling your purpose actually looks like as time goes on. Now, vision is absolutely critical because it gives you vital direction. It answers the question, where am I going? And it essentially stops you from just spinning your wheels and being busy without actually moving toward a meaningful destination. Then we hit our third pillar, vocation, which is the what. Your vocation defines the practical roles, the careers, or the ministries through which you actually express that calling. And what is really fascinating here, and kind of a relief honestly, is that the source notes you might actually have several totally different vocations throughout your life. They're really just the practical tools you pick up to pursue your one singular purpose. So vocation simply answers, what am I to do to get there? Finally, we anchor the whole structure with passion, the fuel. The text defines this as that inner fire, which is so often shaped by your own personal experiences, the burdens you carry, or the specific people you feel called to serve. It directly answers, what keeps me going? Because let's face it, the journey inevitably gets incredibly difficult, and passion is the exact energy you need to persevere when that happens. That brings us to Section 3, the dangers of misalignment, and what happens when the structure fails. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is it forces us to imagine what happens to a physical building when its load-bearing pillars are totally out of whack. I mean, it faces a total collapse, right? The sources explicitly map out these exact failure points for a personal mission statement. Look at this. If you have purpose but you lack vision, you end up with all this activity but zero direction. What about vision without vocation? Well, it just remains a pipe dream because you don't have the practical tools to actually express it. Vocation without purpose, that just becomes empty employment, literally just grinding away every day. And my goodness, passion without wisdom, that is a fast one-way ticket to complete burnout. And our final section, Section 4, drafting your masterpiece, putting the blueprint into practice. So now that we understand these 4 pillars, how do we actually combine them so we avoid that structural collapse we just talked about? Well, the sources outline a super clear drafting process. Step 1, as we mentioned, is starting with God. Step 2 is where you integrate those pillars into a single workable template. And step 3 is where you refine that statement, making sure it focuses completely on meaning, direction, expression, and endurance. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how to bring it all together. The text provides this specific template for us. My mission is to purpose, by working toward a future where vision, expressed through my work in vocation, and sustained by my heart for passion. It is so simple, but it beautifully locks the why, the where, the what, and the fuel into one cohesive, powerful statement. To really see this in concrete terms, the source offers a fantastic example. It goes like this. My mission is to reflect God's order and restoration in broken places by seeing communities where every person is known, valued, and flourishing. I will pursue this through my role in social work and community leadership, fueled by my deep conviction for justice and my own experience of finding hope in difficult times. See how that works? It's basically a perfect model of what it looks like when a lasting purpose, a clear vision, a practical vocation, and a driving passion all work in perfect harmony. As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to consider yourself the master architect of your own blueprint. The framework we've explored today strongly suggests that by aligning these four specific pillars, your daily work can serve a much, much higher reason, moving far beyond just a paycheck or mere employment. So, as you start applying this divine architecture to your own unique journey, you have to stop and ask yourself, what is the lasting impact your life is meant to have?